Okay. Well, welcome to our webinar, Live Coaching Sessions. This is my favorite webinar that we put on. My name is Sandra Moll. I am the program advisor here at Coaching Out of the Box. And our intention today is for you to walk away with the experience of live coaching sessions and for you to witness the power of coaching that can happen even in just a short time, as well as to get to know a little bit more about Coaching Out of the Box as well. So as program advisor, I speak and communicate with people every day who are wanting to learn more about coaching and about our programs. And I'm very happy to connect with each and every one of you if you do have any questions. You'll see on the screen is a link to my calendar. You're also welcome to send an email. I can put that in the chat for you as well. And just to let you know that the chat box for this webinar is open. We love hearing from you. So if you have any questions or comments to add to the webinar today, please feel free to put them in the chat box. Once the webinar is complete, you will receive an email from us that includes the link to the recording as well as the slides from today's webinar as well. So I would like to introduce to you all the CEO and founder of Coaching Out of the Box, the very passionate Allison Hendrick. And Allison, did you want to come on and say hello?
I am theoretically on. I don't see it in the window, but it should be there. But can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine.
I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, I know why. I didn't click start video. That's why.
That would be it.
Welcome, and welcome to one of our favorite webinars that we just love doing because you get to see it. You get to see coaching in real time. I'm Allison Hendrick, as Sandra mentioned. I'm CEO and founder of Coaching Out of the Box, and I am a passionate advocate for coaching. And having seen the power and value of coaching for 20 years, I've been in coaching 20 years, and when I first got started, I couldn't believe that this was going to take over my life and be the most wonderful choice I could have ever made in my next career. I've worked at 2 universities supporting their executive coaching programs. I'm a master certified coach, which is one of, I guess now maybe 800 or so in the world. It's a very, very important designation to get, and you have to work very, very hard to get it. Takes a long time, so that's why I'm a little gray. It takes a while. In any case, all it means is that I've done a ton of coaching with all different types of people. And we also created these programs here at Coaching Out of the Box. And we've had, actually on the slide, it's not wrong, we have had well over 20,000 people through our programs in 38 plus countries. And I would have never imagined that either. So what is going to happen today? If you could just move the slide, Sandra, that would be fantastic. Right, this is what we want you to see, and we want you to see how coaching can happen in a very short space of time. Yes, it's great if you can have a half hour or an hour. Sometimes you can't, but you can use this approach even in 5 minutes and can make a difference for people. The different styles, you're going to see some different styles. You're going to also see how they use the core competencies. We'll talk about that in a minute. These are the competencies that have been identified as the core competencies of coaching by the International Coach Federation. You're going to see it happening in the moment, and you're going to see our 2 fabulous coaches who are working with wonderful volunteers willing to be coached today to demonstrate this. And this is real. This is, and you're also going to, there'll be some feedback, there'll be time for Q&A, etc. And that I think is really, really important. As Sandra's got up on the slide, we have not prepared for this. You can't really prepare to be coach-like. You have to use those skills. It's not about preparing, but it's about knowing how to coach and using the skills and the competencies to support that person that you're coaching. And so that's what's going to be happening here in just a few moments. I want to also mention why we're doing this. We're doing this for a few different reasons. We want you to support your development, because on this webinar, we know we have a mix of people. We have some people that have been coaches for a long time. We have brand new people. We people who are new to coaching, people who are checking out coaching, who are checking out us. And we want you to have that experience. And we hope when you walk away from this, that you will say, I need to learn these skills. In fact, our, of course, vision and mission is that everyone learns coaching skills. So we do this to hopefully have you drink the Kool-Aid, as they say, or if you've already done that and you're developing you're growing your skills, that you will take away something because you were here today and you saw some coaching happen. The other thing that I wanted to mention is about how ICF, which is the largest professional association of coaches in the world, and of which all our programs are approved by. This is the definition of coaching: partnering with clients, customers, colleagues, or employees in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. We want to support the brilliance coming out of them, and them being able to walk away moving forward and having some sort of an action step or other to do that. We're living in challenging times. We're living with change constantly, problems and situations we have never experienced before. And now more than ever, we need coaching skills. And the other thing, and I heard a little bing, and I'm guessing there's a timing thing going on. So let's put the competencies up, and we won't leave them up for a long time, but we are adhering to this. And when we teach people how to coach, we are covering all of these competencies. There is a method to this. It's not just winging it that people do this. These are the standards and the core competencies. So I think we will just move along now and get going. So over to you, Sandra.
Well, each coaching session today is going to be about 12 minutes in length, and it will be followed by a debrief period of about 10 minutes. Please, sessions are happening, to add any comments or questions that arise for you in the chat. We can always touch on those during the debrief as well. And I'm going to start off today by introducing our two wonderful coaches, both coach facilitators here for us at Coaching Out of the Box, that will be leading these sessions today. So first up, we have Lorraine Kaduk. Lorraine is a Master Certified Coach. She's been coaching since 1999. She's the owner of Soul Designs Coaching International. And in my opinion, Lorraine's superpower is her powerful intuition, blended with experience in coaching, coach training, and the ability to shift perspective allows others to change their minds about how they lead and live, allowing them to unearth incredible potential as a result. So you can read the rest of it on the screen. Lorraine, did you want to pop up and say hi? And if you want to save that for a little bit as well, that's all fine too.
No, I was just using my mute button extremely well. So hi everyone, I'm really happy to be here and so excited to be modeling coaching for you today. Looking forward to it.
We're excited to see what you bring. Thanks for joining us, Lorraine. And next up, we have another wonderful one of our coach facilitators. It's Carolyn Hamilton, PCC. Carolyn has been the owner of Morningstar Center for Engagement, specializing in leadership and professional coach development for nearly 2 decades now. She has been named a top facilitator by the World Business Executive Coach Summit, a thought leader by the ICF. We're lucky to have her on our team. You can read all the rest about her on the screen as well. Carolyn, do you want to come in and say hi?
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be on board. Thanks for this opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. And we are going to jump right in to our first live coaching session. So I'm going to ask, out of respect for the coach and the coachee, if you are not speaking, if you can please turn your cameras off as well as mute your microphones, just to be sure there are no distractions and we can get out of this what we'd like to get out of this for today. And I'd like to introduce to you our first coachee, so the very brave Laurelyn Whitfield. Laurelyn, did you want to come on and say hi?
Hi, everybody. It doesn't take a lot of bravery to be coached by Lorraine. She's pretty amazing.
Well, we'd like to thank you and acknowledge you being here today. It is a little bit of a different format being coached live, and you will be coached by Lorraine. And I'll be the timekeeper for the two of you. Lorraine, would you like a 2-minute warning? And if so, how would you like that demonstrated to you? And you are lovely, but you're on mute again.
I know. If you could just pop in and give me a 2-minute heads up, that'd be great.
I can certainly do that. And I'm going to turn off my video and pass it over to the two of you.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hi, how are you
put
today?
my glasses on so I can see you. There you are.
Hi.
Hi. I'm well. Yeah, like a grand scheme of things are great, but I have like a little growing ball of stress around a looming deadline, and I'm sort of working through that.
Okay, well, thank you for all you did to be here with us today. We have 10 minutes for our coaching. In that space, and given how you're coming in, what is it that you would like to focus on for that 10 minutes?
Yeah, I actually thought that I would pull from my personal life today. So my husband just started a master's program, and that means that I am on single parent duty a lot in the evening so that he can have time to study. And we have 2 small children, 3 and as of Monday, 8. And I experience a lot of stress and anxiety around bedtime. And I think have sort of rigid ideas about what that process should look like. I'm really hungry to get to that time on the other side of bedtime when I can just relax and have me time and not, you know, be working or taking care of other people. And so I feel this sense to like want to rush through it and, you know, get them to that point and get them to sleep and get things moving, and, you know, and they're kids and they don't work that way. And now that I'm doing this on my own, I'm particularly conscious that I have a lot more responsibility for the energy and the feel of that ultimately really precious time with my kids in the evening. And so I'd like to get myself into a different frame of mind around that 45 minutes. Well, on a good night, 45 minutes. On a bad night, hour and a half of time.
Okay, so the focus is this time at the end of the day where your kids are getting into bed, and what is it that you'd like to take away? You mentioned frame of mind. Is that your takeaway if we were to focus on this for your coaching today?
I think I'd like to let go of some of the rigidity and the sense of sort of rushing and urgency and kind of like, come on, let's just get this over with. Like, that's not the way that I want to come into that. And I can sort of start there, but then as they do what kids do and, you know, run around and stall jammies and do all those things, I feel my frustration mounting, and then it's hard for me to stay in that frame of mind.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the ideal frame of mind that you're wanting to hold in that bedtime.
I think I just want to stay in presence with them. You know, like I think part of where the frustration comes from is that I'm so focused on what comes next, you know, sort of on the future. Mm-hmm. And I just want to be present, but I also have this fear that if I just sort of surrender to the present moment, that bedtime's going to take 2.5 hours. It's never going to end. Yeah.
Okay. So presence really captures, that's the word that captures what you're truly wanting to achieve, the space that you're wanting to hold for bedtime with your children.
Yeah, and I think holding both presence to sort of their energy and presence to my energy level and how much I have to give them that night, because I'm tired by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's connected to this, you know, that fear that if I just sort of surrender to where they are, that we'll never get to bed. And so I think it's sort of being able to be present to both of those things simultaneously.
Okay. Okay. So I really want to acknowledge your love for your kids. You know, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't important to you how they went to bed. And, you know, so, you know, I love that. And I love that you're creating some space and time for you with this session to consider them and you, and the fact that you're making yourself part of that equation, right? So you're bringing balance to that space. So what are the pieces that need to be addressed or need to be looked at in our coaching today that will invite you to hold that space of presence and mindfulness about both you and your children at bedtime?
I mean, a few things come to mind. So one, I think being more attuned, like just sort of acknowledging that moment of transition into the bedtime process, like out of dinner and whatever the post-dinner activities have been that evening, like just acknowledging for myself, just taking a little moment to transition into like, okay, and now we're into that final phase of the day and my relationship with my children today, and that is the bedtime routine. And even I mean, just tuning into what do I have to offer tonight? Like what's available within me for my kids tonight? That's not something that I've been doing, but I can see why that would be really helpful. I also wonder, you know, my 3-year-old is a 3-year-old, but I think my 8-year-old could actually, I think I could share that with her. I don't think could be a consistent ally because sometimes she's caught up in her own stuff. But I do think that if I enlisted her support and said like, hey, look, this is one of those nights when I'm really tired and I'm going to need your help, I think some of the time she could step up to that. And then I think there's also something like I need some sort of a practice in those moments when I'm like, for the 4th time, go brush your teeth. And I can sort of feel the frustration mounting, like something that just sort of brings me back to this intention. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm hearing is perhaps some actions that can support what you're wanting to achieve, this presence. And I hear you considering yourself and your children, you know, in considering it. So these are the pieces that you gave me: acknowledging the transition to bedtime, tuning in to what you might have to offer given the night and the day and what's occurred. So being present to that, those pieces within you, and then communicating that to your children. You said primarily your 8-year-old. So really being mindful of who they are and where they're at, respectful of that. What can I communicate? What can I enlist? Or, you know, what support can I get from them? What's realistic within the context of who they are and where they are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then this
doesn't feel like like an awareness piece. Like I know that this is happening, but I think there's some practices that I could put in place and some habits that maybe could shift, or some conditioned responses that could shift. So it does feel like an action.
So so this is all stuff you know. You can employ this. So what would you like to talk about, consider, or reflect on, or address that stands in the way of you doing these things? Because you already know that these things are here. These actions are here for you.
I mean, there's sort of the surface level response to that, and then there's the deeper truth.
Give me the deeper truth. That's going to give you the best bang for your buck in 10 minutes.
So the deeper truth is that it's a lot easier to just stay in the victim consciousness, right? Like, it's a lot easier to stay in the, like, it's their fault, they're just not cooperating, I'm just going to get frustrated mode, than to, sort of do the work of staying present,
Which is?
and reconnecting with my intention. Yeah, what do you mean, which is?
I interrupted you. Where is that deeper consciousness? It's easier to stay in the victim place. What's underneath that deeper place?
I mean, the deeper place is the recognition that I'm the creator of my experience of our bedtime routine. I don't create their actions, obviously, but I create my reaction to their actions. Yeah.
But what's important about seeing that today in relationship to your desire to create a different experience for yourself and your children at bedtime and be present?
I mean, I think what's important is the recommitment to my intention and the taking responsibility. Both to do the things that I think would be helpful, honoring the transition, checking in with myself, recognizing my part in the dance of bedtime, and just reaffirming, my commitment to my kids, that be, a time for connection and not a time for, frustration and tension.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just lost you, Laurelyn.
I'm still here. I still see you, but I think the slide also came back on.
Okay, no problem. Okay, that so my sense is that we're probably closing in on 10 minutes. So you just brought back this, there's a process within yourself of recommitting, recognizing, and reaffirming that connection is really what you're in this for. It's connecting with your kids in this sacred space of closing down the day.
Mm-hmm.
What, at that level of that deeper level, what's your sense or feeling around what's going to make the biggest shift and the greatest impact to your ability to hold the space of presence at the end of the day with your kids, to invite that connection?
I mean, honestly, what's coming to mind is I'm thinking like some sort of a visual cue, even of that word connection, feels really helpful. The beginning of the routine often involves like us coming upstairs to where the bedrooms are. And I just sort of have this image of like the word connection, even above the bathroom door, something that just sort of triggers that that intention for me. Yeah.
Okay.
That could be a starting point.
So given the 10 minutes that we've had, what is most important for you as a takeaway that will compel you to move to that place of creating that visual cue and reconnecting to that presence that you desire and that you want?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm taking away, a a sort of reaffirmation of a reconnection with, you know, a sense of power and being the creator of this experience. A real clarity about what I want to take the place of what I currently experience, which is deep connection with my kids. A couple of concrete things to try, like the moment of, you know, of transition and putting that word above the bathroom door. I mean, I actually think that could be really helpful. And a lot of love, actually. Like, I'm feeling a lot of love toward my kids right now.
Beautiful. I just got a note that time is up. Laura Lynn, in closing our time together, is there anything that you need or want to have this, just lock this in and have this be a profound shift in your life with your children at bedtime?
I'm going to send you a picture of the connect sign.
Ah, yay! Thank you. I would love to receive.
Writing it down on a Post-it.
I would love to receive that. And I have a request for you, and that is to reflect on, write on, make real in some form what value will come from this connection. So anchoring this concept of connection at bedtime to something greater than the moment, because I understand a mom's need to have space for herself. I get that. And I understand the pull towards that. And I'm also hearing a deep desire to honor and just glean all you can with your loved little ones in those last moments of the day. So really binding that to something greater. Like, so if you build this connection in this time, then what comes from that? What are you inviting in those last moments of the day for all concerned?
Yeah, I love that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I can't wait to receive your picture. Okay.
Good little accountability nudge.
Yeah, right? Good. You gave that to yourself. Well done.
I did.
All right. We're done. Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you both so very much. That was wonderful. I'm going to pass this over to Carolyn, and she will lead our debrief.
Okay, so right out the gate, Laura Lynn, thank you for bringing such vulnerability and depth of sharing such a real topic. And so interested in hearing feedback from you. What did you find of most value? And where did you see the competencies at work? If you did, because it's so important.
Yeah. First off, it's nice to see you again, Carolyn. I think I surprised myself with how action-oriented I was. Lorraine knows that I'm not always in that space. So yeah, that just surprised me a little bit. I mean, the competencies were all over the place. If you put them back up on the screen, I could probably make more explicit connections. But I thought that the co-creation at the very beginning, thanks, Sandra, of, you know, like establishing the coaching agreement. And I thought I was coming in with something really clear. Here's what I want. And if I remember right, Lorraine asked 2 follow-up questions just to really, really get clear, which on it, like even in those follow-up questions, insights and ideas were beginning to emerge. I mean, I'm sure everybody on the call was aware of her coaching presence. And just, I mean, one of the things that I think that I really appreciate about working with Lorraine is how asset-based she is in her coaching. And it felt really good to hear the affirmation of my love for my kids. And, you know, yeah, it's normal for a full-time working parent to be really tired at the end of the day, but this is coming from a place of love, and that honoring myself and my kids both in that process was something really healthy. That was really helpful for me to hear in this process.
Thanks so much for that. And Lorraine, wow, you know, the environment that you created out the gate in this very short timeline, no doubt contributed to the level of sharing. Was that the case, Laura Lynn? My sense was your comfort level was in place.
Yeah.
For that, you know, it's her presence. It was the trust and intimacy And it was in the connectedness. I mean, what I observed, and jump in, Laurelyn, if you saw differently, or if you want to add the connectedness, the high level of support and committedness, the space and the silence within space in a very short span of time, getting super clear on the agreement out the gate so that she could help move you forward. Beautifully modeling coaching, what coaching is and who a coach is and who they be. Thanks, Lorraine.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Okay, so we are now going to welcome our second coachee for today. Before I do that, I just wanted to say, Laurelyn and Lorraine, thank you both so very much. Lorraine, we'll see you shortly for a little bit of debrief on Carolyn's coaching. And I would like to introduce you all to Tiffany Clay. Tiffany is yet another brave soul that has agreed to jump in here and be coached live by Carolyn today. So Tiffany, I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Carolyn, how would you like your 2-minute warning?
Yeah, maybe a bit of, 2-minute warning is good actually. And just a quick little, verbal 2 minutes. Does that work for you though, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Well, thank you, and we will see you guys shortly.
Okay. So I'm just going to get Tiffany here on the screen so I can see you. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi.
Listen, thanks for volunteering to be coached and giving me the opportunity to coach you.
Oh, thank you.
And as we start out, I just want to acknowledge, we have people observing, it's being recorded. That can be a little stressful. And I just want you to know, to feel as comfortable as you want to be in sharing, in levels of sharing. If I ask you something in a moment, it's not something that you necessarily want to put out publicly, just feel free to pass. And I promise I'll come up with something else.
Okay.
All right. What would you like to bring to the table in this full 11 and a half minutes that we've got?
I've been thinking about this a little bit. So I have a really big goal for this year. And I think right now, what I need is some help getting out of being overwhelmed and moving into action so I can get to work on that goal.
Okay. All right. I'm interested in hearing even more.
Okay. So as you know, I've gone through the coaching out of the box training and I've been doing some coaching, and my goal is to move into coaching full time. And where I'm at right now with feeling overwhelmed is how to make that happen. And I feel like it's just this massive thing that I need to do. And I wish it was really easy that I could just wave a magic wand and okay, great, I'm a coach and here's my clients. But the trick is getting that little piece in the middle of, you have to market and you have to put yourself out there and all of that stuff. And that's kind of the big block. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what I'm hearing is that it feels huge, massive was the word that you used. And that it's mainly about launching your business, and how to do that, putting yourself out there is giving you a level of discomfort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of discomfort. And I am coaching people now, and I've started just very small, but in terms of being able to make this a full-time thing, it's going to be a bigger jump. Mm-hmm. And I think it just almost feels impossible. It's really hard for me to visualize the other side of it. I can actually see it, but I can't see how I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got the vision, and the gap is there. How do you make it to that vision?
Exactly. So I'm feeling like there's the whole piece of now everything is online. It's this big online space, and there's so many ways to do things. And then there's, I've got a half-finished website. I've got my social media accounts and all of those things. And I've started doing some things with YouTube and Instagram and things like that. But it can get very overwhelming because I am actually also working in my other job and doing some coaching and like living my day-to-day life. So I often feel like I want to get to work on the marketing stuff, and another week goes by and I haven't done anything. And it just keeps going into this cycle of, wow, 3 weeks have gone by now and I haven't really had a chance to, write a blog or do something like that. And so now it's starting to feel really scary that if it feels like this like procrastination loop of there's the intention and I'm going to do this thing and then it doesn't get done and then I'm another week and then, around in circles.
Okay. And so, listen, good on you for just putting it out there. I hear the excitement in your voice around moving forward with the business, and it's just a matter of how to move forward. And procrastination sounds like it's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also not knowing what elements you've got your website started, you've social media, you've got some aspects started, but maybe the marketing piece even more.
Mm-hmm.
And some challenge around that marketing piece is what
Mm-hmm.
And so of those aspects, what is the one key thing that will be most helpful for you to achieve if we fast forward to the end of this 10 minutes or so that we've got left?
Yeah, I think even if I could just get to a point of a plan, even just a starting point of a plan of saying, because I have so many balls up in the air, I keep jumping from, I need to finish my website to, maybe I should do a YouTube, or, I should do a blog. And so I think because I'm trying to do too many things, that's why I end up not really getting as much done as I like. So I think even if I could have a starting point of, okay, let's do this first and not worry about the other stuff, so I can baby step it a little bit. I know it's easy for me, right, when I'm coaching someone else to see all of that, but when it's yourself, it's like, yeah.
I hear you. I have a coach. All right. And so having a starting point, a plan with a clear starting point, some clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so how will you know that we got that at the end of this timeline? You're walking away and that was a great value, that coaching session. And how will you know that you got it?
I'll know because when I'm done, I'll be like, yes, I'm going to do that thing. Mm-hmm.
And so clarity. Just for on direction.
Yeah. I'm feeling motivated, getting out of that overwhelm, feeling motivated to do it.
Okay. Clarity, sense of direction, more motivation around it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you want to play with it?
Sure.
Okay. So you shared a little bit about what you've done so far. Yeah. And what would be most helpful for you to share with me right now in launching forward on this?
I guess it's like, is there, I guess in my mind, there's this perfect thing of everything needs to be done so that if somebody comes to my website or sees me online, that they're able to find me and maybe book a consultation or something like that. So I'm kind of wavering between, establishing sort of being visible online and then like working on the visibility piece, because it's to get yourself out there and build that momentum. But then there's like, well, if they come to my website and that's not done, and then there's nowhere to see what I do or who I am, then they might get lost there. So it's like, do I work on the website first and get that done? So that's kind of like the back and forth of it. So then I'm kind of thinking, is there a best thing to do first so I could be okay with letting one of those go while I feel like I have to try and do everything. And I think what I need to do is give myself permission to let go of something in order to get something else done. I'm kind of having that realization now, is that I can't do this and also work my other job and, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. it was the question that I was just going to ask. And so, what do you do with that information, that insight you just got around the let go?
I do. I need to stop. I need to pick the thing to focus on. I think I need to finish my website first.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what I need to do, because I do have presence on social media already that I can build on. But I think if someone comes to my website and they don't really see a way to work with me, then I'm going to lose people there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you think you need to do first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if I can get, it's really just like about me and work with me is getting those 2 pages up, so that it gives out a sense of completion, and that at least that's there. And then I can go back and build on the rest of it once I have that kind of, it's like a home, right? It's a home base. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I just lost image. There we go. And so you think that's first place to start? Is it, do you feel it's the first place to start?
I'm still feeling I'm still feeling like I should be doing this over here. I'm still feeling that, but I have to make a leap somewhere.
Okay.
And I've been procrastinating finishing the website, and it really shouldn't take that long to write 2 pages.
Okay.
Right? And it would be a big check off the to-do list.
Okay. And so just a quick question. Again, I've lost your visual here, so I'll just, but you know, you said, I'm also thinking about that over here. What is that over here? I'm just curious.
It's the, I should be posting on Instagram. I should be posting on, you know, it's that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does your gut say?
What does my gut say? Well, my gut's having an argument, right? All the time. There's a sense of perfectionism in there, is that I want to do it all. And I want to have it all done perfectly and all done yesterday.
Right.
And I think that the battle is really being able to let go of that piece over there, I need to be able to put it down for a little bit.
Okay. So I'm just curious, maybe I'm off base with this, Tiffany, tell me if I am. But I'm wondering if the letting go is of that piece, or is it letting go of the perfectionism?
Right. It's letting go of the perfectionism.
Okay.
Yeah. It is. There's too much of that going on.
Okay. And so how have you managed that or let go of it in the past successfully?
I don't know that I've been able to let go of it in the past, but I'm, at least now that I know it's there. I think for a long time I didn't realize that that's what I was dealing with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. It's pretty huge.
You know, because you see all these people online, you know, and they have these amazing websites, and the quality of their videos and just everything they produce it's like Oprah, you know, and there's me. And so you want, right, you see this and you want it to be like that. And then I keep trying to remind myself that I'm at the beginning. They've been doing this for 10 years. So of course they're going to have like the budget for a video editor and a big web design guy and maybe a team, you know, and it's just me right now. So I have to let go of thinking I need to look as polished as, you know, Gabby Bernstein or Marie Forleo or someone like that, and then be okay with starting where I am.
Okay. I'm seeing the prompt that time is up. I'm just going to wind up here with what was surfacing for me is, what one key thing can you take away from this or move forward on in relation to letting go of your perfectionism?
I think it's going to be just taking action.
Taking action.
And just getting down, just taking action, just giving myself permission to let go of that other stuff and just pick one thing to do first.
Giving yourself permission. Love it. Great. All right. Listen, thank you so much. That went so quickly.
I know. Thank you.
And yet so much can happen. Yay. Thank you, Carolyn and Tiffany, so much. Tiffany, again, thank you for stepping forward. It is so special for people to, and impactful for people to get an experience of coaching, and real life coaching and scenarios that are unrehearsed just bring that to life for people. So thank you both. So in the spirit of debriefing, Tiffany, what did you notice? What really popped for you in this coaching session with Carolyn?
Creating awareness. Yeah, that was a really strong piece for me, is that she was, really, she wasn't getting involved in my story, which we know is so key as coaches, right? Is not getting involved in the story and just asking those great questions. And that's what I felt came through the most, was that awareness piece. Yeah.
So you mentioned that she asked some questions that invited that awareness. What else did Carolyn do, or who was she being with you that invited that awareness?
Well, she obviously has a really great coaching presence, and I know it's all a little bit of a blur right now, but just that real active listening and, powerful questions, direct communication, all of those things were coming through, and just really holding that space for me to explore, but just not allowing me to get away with it. Like when I was starting to kind of waffle a bit, it was like really bringing me back to, what would it take, or what would this mean? Like those kinds of things. So yeah.
Yeah, I really noticed that Carolyn was deeply invested in you, not the result.
Right.
That really came through in this session, Carolyn, was, never mind the time, never mind it's like, okay, Tiffany, you've got this big thing that you want. I want that as much as you. Now let's go for it. So that self-awareness was really like her commitment, and it was showed up in all those competencies that you've shared. Was there anything else did anything surprise you or sort of catch you, or anything else you want to comment on with regards to what you noticed or experienced?
I wasn't expecting it. How would I say? It's hard to know beforehand because I have so many things running through my head, and be mindful of time and things
Fair
like
enough.
that. So I had no idea where this was going to go, or even what I was going to say. So I think it's really interesting how I got to where I got without having any sense of what was going to happen beforehand. So this really is live.
Yeah. Okay. So it surprised you where you got to. And it's interesting. I heard an element of that in Laura Lynn's too. It's like, here you are, you're having this experience. And even though there's quite a few people watching this, the space that Carolyn created with you and partnering with you created this environment where you could actually go to places that weren't even self-rehearsed.
Exactly.
So there was no even self-rehearsal. You can't plan this. So cool. That's great. So it took you places that you didn't know you'd go to. Fantastic. Now also this last question, what did you learn in the process of being coached? What did you learn?
What did I learn? That's a good question. I might need to reflect on that a little bit longer.
Okay. And, I appreciate you going through that experience and being wholeheartedly in it, and then being peppered with questions. Thank you.
It's a little blur. It's a bit blurry.
Yeah.
Sometimes the insights tend to hit a bit later on when you're not directly thinking about it.
Absolutely. Well, and I think, Carolyn, I'd like to ask you that question too, not to put you on the spot, but, even though you're a PCC level coach, we're always growing and learning. I'm just curious, is there anything you learned about you as a coach in this experience with Tiffany?
Thanks for putting it out there. And so, I am used to minimum coaching sessions at 20 minutes. And so this was really, absolutely, I can laser coach in 5 minutes, that sort of thing. But a big topic like this, and it can always be big. It could have been more surface level. It could have even maybe gone deeper quicker. But it still felt like the pace was aligned with Tiffany. And so that's where I went with it. And so was just feeling comfortable, confirming, just going with the flow of where the client is.
Yeah. So now, so not getting caught up in the timing, but again, just constantly how important it is, whether it's 20 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, coaching can happen in all those spaces and times. But what's been affirmed for you is how important it is just to roll and meet the client with where they are.
You've got it. At one point, I got a little bit in my head initially, about the 12-minute mark and everything. And I thought, you know what? Sandra's going to give me the heads up. We'll go with what we go with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Great.
you.
Okay, I think we're done here, Sandra. Are we good, or do we have more time? Because I could debrief all day long.
You are all good. I'm going to invite actually Allison to jump in now. She may have something to add.
Okay.
Well, first of all, just huge thank you to Laurelyn and Tiffany for being willing to do this. And kudos, of course, to Carolyn and Lorraine for fantastic coaching. And I've been watching, the people here and seeing who's there. And I want to, this question, what did you learn? I want to know, for those observers, so for those people who are here, what did you learn? What are you taking away from today? Throw it in the chat, because we want these to be potent and powerful when you come and take time out of your lives to attend this. And I want to know, what is this doing for you? We have, and just so everybody knows, we have a mix on this webinar of very, very experienced coaches, coach wannabes who haven't done any coaching yet, and kind of some that are attending some of our programs or other people's programs. And I can see there's a comment in the chat of acknowledging, yes, and listening, the powerful listening, the space, even though the client, and pull more out, even though, and I want to encourage all of you on this webinar today to slow down when you're asking a question of someone. Give that pause. Did you notice how well both Lorraine and Carolyn shut up and allowed for this great pause? I know when I first coached, I was over-coaching. I was jumping in, and the poor person or persons never had a chance. Both Lorraine and Carolyn have known to trust and value the power of silence. Oh, I just love these comments here. And while those are scrolling through, just want to remind you that we are here to help you. Whether you're a new coach, an experienced coach, you want to bring coaching to your organization and support your leaders and managers, we want to help you. We've got a record of success at doing that for a good period of time. And I'm going to let Sandra move the slide across, because we also want you to think about that. All these comments are so powerful. This is so good. Yes, somebody said coaching, they're going so fast I can't read them all. Coaching helps becoming unjumbled. Boy, is that ever true. How many of us get it's all in here, but that's solid. And remember, this is only approximately 10 minutes or so. What if we all had more conversations like this? We all had more conversations where we focused on supporting that other person and using, what if everyone knew these skills? And as you can see on the slide, and I'm sorry, Sandra, I forgot. You're supposed to jump in here. Sorry, I got excited.
I am more than happy to let you run with it.
Yeah, and I'm just loving the comments too. So, really think about, where do you see yourself? What is going to strengthen your coaching? What is going to get you out of the gate? We're here to support you. We've got loads of experience. As you can see, extremely talented coach facilitators and absolutely incredible students as well. I mean, aren't we lucky to have people like Tiffany and Laurelyn attending our classes? This is absolutely wonderful. And so I'll let, so you can see the different levels. And sorry, I get so excited when I do this. Sandra, go ahead with what's next that we have that might be really great for some of you to attend.
Of course. So you can see on the screen, these are some of the upcoming we do have here at Coaching Out of the Box that are starting in the next month and a half or so. I'd like to highlight 2 of them. Train the Trainer for 555 Coaching Skills Training Program, which is our flagship program. If you are interested in learning how to deliver that program and be licensed to deliver it within your own business, it's a great tool to add to your toolkit, as well as our Fast Track ICF credential. Next program start date is March 11th. Those will be evening classes. I'm always happy to chat with any of you. I'm not nearly as out there as Allison with the passion, which is like such a fantastic thing. But I'm always happy to chat with you, and my link's on the screen there, and feel free to connect with us. I'm going to pass this back over to Allison.
Right. And, I kind of asked this, and I'm just loving this, these comments in the chat. Linda, thank you. Great insight for me as a new wannabe coach who is a work in process. I see another one, confirmation that I'm on the right path. Well, every one of us who has these kinds of conversations is on the right path. I'm not biased, but come on. If we had more of these, it would make a difference. Now, what is this? I mean, this is, now here's one. I also learned, Joe, thank you, that I need to work on my staying silent. Oh boy, that's a trick. And yeah, you want to fill in the space. That's a tendency. Bite your tongue, bite the inside of your cheek, do something, but slow down. The end of the world will not happen. And I'm also, Michael said, a great reminder of different and effective styles. Everybody's using a process. Everybody's using skills, but they're all unique and they all have a different way. You saw it with Carolyn and Lorraine, different styles, slightly different approaches, but if you deciphered it down more, you would see that there is a process. You would see that they were figuring out at the beginning, what are we talking about? What do you want to walk away with? They might have been saying it in a slightly different way, but they did. And as they moved through the various skills, at the end, they were also checking in, what are you taking away? What are you going to do? What's your action? What are you committing to? What's happened as a result of our conversation? So there really is a process. And as we saw on an earlier screen, there's competencies that you are learning. This is a profession. This is something that, to be professional, you need to learn these. Now, what else have I missed? Accountability. Yes, that whole accountability piece is huge. How many of us have had conversations where with our boss or whoever, we walk away and we don't even know what the heck happened? I can raise my hand. And so that's what you're doing. And again, in that short space of time. And we actually are done what it appears to me to be almost 1 minute ahead of time. Is there anything else before we all go and we all go back to whatever it was we were doing? Anybody? Okay, well then just put up the last slide, Sandra. And that one, because that one's the one that I always think is so important. What if everyone had coaching skills? Our vision is that they will. Our mission is to see that they do. Thank you so much to everybody for your attention, for our coach facilitators, for our coachees, and have a great rest of your day and week. Thank you. And reach out to us. We can help you. Okay. Bye-bye.